Hi, and welcome back to my channel. It's an incredibly exciting time to travel the world, and it's becoming easier to do for longer than just a vacation. So what if you wanted to spend a year working in Spain, and the next year working in Bali, and maybe the following year in Costa Rica? Well, thanks to these digital nomad visas, which are basically remote work permits from almost anywhere, this dream life is now a reality. So let's dive into this amazing opportunity to see the world and what you'll need to do to make it happen. Until recently, only a few countries had digital nomad programs, but we live in a digital age, and after COVID, remote work became more of the norm than the exception. More countries realized the benefits of people bringing their hard-earned cash in, and as internet services around the world get better and better, locations with sufficient bandwidth to support remote work have increased dramatically. So, let's say you have a job that allows you to work from anywhere, or you're self-employed. Maybe you're a YouTuber, or an online language teacher. These types of career paths are ideal for the digital nomad opportunities. So, which countries are actually offering digital nomad visas? On this map, you'll see all the countries in the world offering digital nomad programs, and how many people are already doing it. The US actually has the most, but much smaller countries like Spain and Thailand are crushing it by opening their doors to people like you who just want to see the world. So, what are the requirements? Now, there are conditions, and you really need to do your homework and research the requirements for each destination that you're interested in. Some countries have quite high monthly income requirements, though I think you'll find enough countries where $2,000 to $2,500 per month will get it done. You might think that's a really low amount, but much of the world is much less expensive to live in than the US. The links in the description below have exact numbers for each country on income requirements, healthcare obligations, application fees, bring your family options, and some even have limitations as to which cities you can stay in their country, or if you can apply once you arrive, or if you have to do it from your home country. Healthcare costs, food budgets, public transportation, internet services, all these items are really very reasonable in most countries. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. So, what are you looking for? It's really important to spend time considering what you want. European culture, island life, language learning, ancient civilizations, maybe places that cater to hobbies you have like skiing or cycling or scuba diving. And think about whether you want to be fully immersed in another culture outside your work hours, or if you want to be with other expats some of the time. A great organization for that is Internations. There's a link below. And it has chapters with thousands of people in most sizable cities around the world. Again, read up, get educated on your destination of choice, and then get going. The world is waiting. So enough of getting you amped up for this. I'm sure you want examples. So let's dive into one that I'm particularly well acquainted with, Spain. Recently, I lived in Spain for 2.5 years, and it was amazing. The food, the history, the diverse landscapes, the friendly and open-minded people. So let's see what it would take to get a digital nomad visa there. I follow a YouTube channel called Path Less Pedaled, where the content creators have just moved from the US to Catalonia in the northeast of Spain. And you can see their channel link up here. On their Patreon, they have some videos discussing their experiences in these first few months, and I found that really, really useful. So this website is from the Spanish government, and it details everything you need to know. So again, all links will be in the description below. For Spain, it appears applications need to be made in person, and there are 10 locations in the US at the embassy in Washington, D.C., and 9 other consulates around the US. So while there may be a good deal of paperwork to prepare, the really cool thing is that the Spanish government commits to having a decision for you in 10 days from the date of submission. The application fee is around $100, and you need to have about $2,400 per month in income to show. Private health care in Spain is inexpensive and can be had for about $100 a month. So now that we have the boring part out of the way, what about life in Spain? What will it cost? Where should you live? What type of climate do you like? Do I want to be in a city that speaks mostly Spanish or mostly Catalan? And remember, there's Basque and Gallego as well. Do I want the beach or the southern interior with all the history? Or the northern alpine or coastal region with more temperate summers but cooler, wetter winters? Spain has it all, and while 1/4 of all Spaniards live in either the Madrid or Barcelona metro areas, there are nearly 30 cities around Spain that have a population of 200,000 or more that have more than adequate infrastructure for digital nomads. Renting apartments. My favorite sites for renting apartments are Idealista and Fotocasa, but there are a ton of other sites listed in the description below that could be useful. Looking at the Idealista website, you can see what you can expect to get for your money in cities like Valencia and Cordoba. Take your time looking through these sites. Familiarize yourself with the concept of square meters. Rule of thumb is 10 square feet per square meter, so a 60 square meter apartment is just over 600 square feet. I tend to favor these cities like Valencia and Cordoba. Valencia is big, about 1.5 million, but it has everything. It's got an old city, it's got a bustling market hall, it's got really cool neighborhoods like Ruzafa and El Carmen, and it's got amazing beaches in Malvarosa and Patacona. And of course, Valencia has paella. I mean, it's my favorite food in Spain, and it hails from Valencia. So just stay away from the tourist trap paella joints down by the beach. Lose yourself in smaller neighborhoods and you'll get a better paella. Now, Cordoba, along with Granada and Sevilla, make up the heart of Andalusia, and that's in the southern interior, and it boasts some of the most interesting history of anywhere in Europe. The pace is slow, but there's so much to see, and these three cities are so close by high-speed rail. Speaking of high-speed rail, forget everything you know about train travel from the US. Spain is second only to China in miles of high-speed rail. And getting back to Valencia and Cordoba, Valencia's 400 kilometers or 260 miles from Madrid, but it takes only about an hour and 40 minutes to get there. You're speeding along at 300 kilometers an hour, 187 miles per hour, and it's incredible. And since the rail network was opened up to third-party providers last year, there are more trains and less expensive trains than just a few years ago. I did an entire video on the Valencia to Madrid route last February. Check it out up here. It only costs about 15 euros each way from Valencia to Madrid. So what about cell phones and internet? Spain is crushing it in this regard. Most cities have internet speeds of over 300 megabits. In Valencia, I was getting 600 megabit per second. Vodafone in Spain is offering 300 megabit internet and a 50 gig per month cell plan for just about 50 euros. And they have eSIMs and prepaid cards as well. Whatever you do though, don't get caught paying for roaming on your US cell plan. It'll destroy your budget. Food. Got to talk about food and budgeting for food. And why? Because it's so easy and so cheap. Spain has a thing called the Menú del Día, which is the plate of the day. Most restaurants offer it, and it'll be a glass of wine or beer, bread, a main course, and coffee or dessert, sometimes both. And these meals can be had for between 10 and 15 euros, which is about $11 to $17. It's an amazing offer. And as far as groceries go, bread is really good and very inexpensive, with baguettes costing under $1. Bottles of Spain's amazing red wine start at about 2 euros and are very, very good. Excellent wines can be bought for under 10. Now, even in tapas bars, a glass of wine is generally under 4, in some regions under 2 euros, and a caña, which is a small beer, is often around 1 to 2 euros. Speaking of tapas, make sure you don't ask for the menu in a tapas bar. Tourist mistake. Just order your glass of wine or beer and then wait. A small plate is sure to follow. I've had some small ones that weren't that great, but I've also had some plates that were basically a whole meal. One in particular was in the Humido neighborhood of León, in the north of Spain, and that's what you see here. Spiced, chopped meat with potatoes and sauerkraut, and yes, it was free with the purchase of a beer. So, how do we sum this up? Well, I may have sold you on Spain for your next vacation, but I hope I've also sparked your interest in the incredible opportunities provided by the Digital Nomad visa programs that are springing up all over the world. Spain has 125,000 digital nomads already, and Thailand has about the same. Indonesia is up to almost 100,000, and Australia has about 40,000. Do your research and pick a spot that's perfect for you. And if it isn't all you ever dreamed of, try a different country next year. That's what makes this so great. And let me know in the comments down below where you want to go or where you ended up going. We live in a flexible world, so head out and discover. Take care. See you next time.